Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, I have another breakup story to share with you. And if you have a breakup story you'd like to share, please visit writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com. Send your story, and I possibly could do a YouTube video response just like this. And if you'd like to take it a step further, you could book a live coaching session, spend about an hour to 2 hours getting everything out, getting some clarity moving forward, digging some of the roots of the problems of your relationship out. And moving forward is the key. So if you have some comments to make about this particular story that might help this individual or others out there, please put them down below. If you like the video, throw me a thumbs up. Otherwise, let's get into it. Hi, Mac. I'd like to thank you for your video support. It helps a lot. Well, thank you for saying thank you. So my boyfriend, 25 years old, of 3 years, broke up with me 9 months ago. Okay, that's good. It's very important in the beginning of the story to give me some time frames here. I handled it really well. Well, give yourself a pat on the back, right? Good for you. I told him that, however, I still love him and want things to work out. I respect his decision. She writes, no begging. Good for you. I went no contact straight away, and there were zero reaching out since. So quick question would be, did you have a past relationship where maybe you did the opposite? How did you know to do this right away? Not a peep from him. I'm constantly working on myself. Good for you. Fucking outstanding. Working on yourself can never be something you regret. I worked abroad. I'm assuming, okay, I worked abroad for 5 months as a 22-year-old woman alone in the big world. Well, good for you. That's great life experience. Living abroad can do nothing but help you grow as an individual and understand other people better. I made myself proud. Well, I'm proud of you, just based on that. In addition, I've never looked so good in my life as now, and my confidence has grown as well. Good for you. I mean, if you never looked better in your life and you feel that way, that's, 22 years old, you should be at the peak, man. I was able to do what I, and also my ex at the time, loved the most about me, dancing on stage. Well, good for you. If that's your passion, if that's what you really love, and you can do that anywhere in the world probably. I've realized my mistakes and doing self-development to better me. I am living my life the best as I can with daily activities and new things. Good for you. But I feel that I still could not move on. I don't understand how can someone disappear from my life this after everything we've shared and taught each other. Well, unless I was to talk to him, you don't really know. And sometimes that's what creates this mystery. Everyone wants to close the loop of a story. That's why we really like to watch soap operas, because they open loops and then they come back to the story, or a series. And sometimes you just want to know why. And from the information you're giving me here, it isn't very clear. And maybe you will just have to move forward knowing that, I'm not going to know. After so many good memories and loving moments, even when he broke up, he said, I'm his dream girl, the love of his life. And I never doubted his words. I could always tell from his eyes. Someone had just a story about prior to this mentioned the eyes, and the eyes do tell a lot. Okay, here we go. Dun, dun, dun. His reason was, which for some reason you're not accepting, by the way, because you've mentioned, I just don't know why, but now you're telling me his reason was that we were fighting and he got exhausted, which I understand. I've just read 5 stories prior to this on video, so I'm talking too fast here. So he's saying he's exhausted with fighting. I don't know what you're fighting about. That would be something else to talk about. However, it wasn't an easy time for us. I felt that the relationship is stuck. Well, you don't want to be stuck in a relationship, okay? So you're stuck, and he's 25 years old. You didn't mention your age. You're 22 years old. Yeah, you don't want to be, at that age, you should be growing. You should be moving forward. So being stuck's not a good place. We don't have privacy. We cannot be together alone because we were still living with our parents, and it was frustrating me. Okay, this can be a big issue in people living with their parents still in their 20s, even in their 30s, and I've come across this more than once. And you both have to accept that and deal with it and find a way to get an apartment or get adult roommates. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying I understand where you're coming from, that it could be a frustrating thing for both of you, and it definitely would have an effect on the relationship. And that's not something you can change immediately. And I would say whatever area of the world you're living in, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, that's highly, highly expensive. And it's been more and more expensive. I mean, now I live abroad, and living abroad opens up so many new doors. And if you could be dancing somewhere else, maybe it's time for you to consider moving. You moved abroad for 5 months and got out on your own. That's great. We even had a chance to move in together, and he was the one always making big plans. I can honestly say I wasn't pushing anything. I had my savings, but just could not get into the comfort zone and try to save more money or applying for a second job. He had a poor salary. Okay. As you can see, he was not the responsible one. So is that something that really bothered you and caused fights? Saving money for a place, you got to put first things first. And when you get your first place, I remember I had my first time I moved out, I moved to San Diego. So I moved an 8-hour drive away from home. And my first studio apartment, I think, was $750 a month. And that was 17 or 18 years ago. And that was hard. I mean, I had to sacrifice a lot. That was a lot of my paycheck at the time. So it's not that you can't do it. You just got to sacrifice other things that you're spending your money on. And then after you're on your own for 3 or 4 months, I found a couple roommates. I found other opportunities. And then from then on, I was like, I'm always going to be on my own, living independently. So you find ways eventually after that. But I loved him to death and always supported him. And he left me. I would like to understand only one thing. How can he not care at all? Well, I think he does care, but he was exhausted with the fighting. So the fact that he broke up with you that's being dramatic, and that's a bad frame to put on the story. How does this apply for being the one? Well, I don't believe in one-itis or the one. I think in different moments and timing and circumstances in your life, you meet an individual that lines up really well with you. But then over time, sometimes they don't line up any longer, and people change, especially when you're young. I had this new job, which he could just congratulate for. I've been through a big storm. There was with dangerous floods on the streets. It was on the news too. He's never reached out to at least say, I hope you're okay. Well, that says a lot about his character. I came home to no welcome message. I had my birthday. I lost my dog, Christmas, New Year's. Now you're just going into victim stuff. You know what I mean? Don't start layering all this shit. Shit happens in life, and I'm not being insensitive. I'm just being fucking real, and that's why you send me this story. But when you start mounting up things like he didn't say hi to me on my birthday, there was just, there was a bad flood, I lost my dog. I mean, this is life, and you got to deal with it. I'm sure along the way there were some wins too. And when you start stacking all the negative shit, you can get negative about everything, and then you invite more negativity into your life. If you guys are broken up, it's not his responsibility to check in on you. It would just be a bonus or a plus. And maybe he's showing you that he's moved on. It's time for you too. Thank you. I think you get my point. How and why someone can just erase someone so important from their life. He didn't erase you. He still thinks about you from time to time. He's just not in a mode where he wants to revisit the relationship, and he probably thinks the best way to do that is to not contact you without being just curious at least. He might be. I mean, but you can't hang on that. I'm not hoping anymore. I think it's done. Well, you got to get to a point where you say, I'm done. I'm moving forward, and I'm moving forward for myself. And the best thing to do with that, I talk about this a lot, is get a clear goal in mind, get a compelling future, and if you want to move abroad again and do something with dancing, you've mentioned dancing as being your passion, then find something that correlates with that rather than getting an ex back or having someone contact you, because you have control over that destiny. I would like to just move on finally and do not care about his reasons. Then do it. But first, I would like to ask your opinion, because right now I feel lost and confused. Thank you. Hope you have a good day. Well, had a great day so far. Answered a lot of stories already. I think you've got my message, and you're 22 years old. You got a lot of life ahead of you. This isn't going to be the last person that you're ever with. This wasn't the one. And the minute you move forward is the minute he might call you out of the blue. But you can't be hanging around wondering and hoping and wishing and thinking, why? Get focused on your passion, whether that's dancing or not. Go study abroad or work abroad. Get yourself out there and have confidence that as an independent individual in yourself, and things will work out moving forward. So I hope that helps you. Please visit writemac.com if you've got a breakup story, or if you'd like to book a live coaching session. Thank you for supporting the channel.